Alrighty, guys, hello and welcome back to the show. Today with me, I have a very special guest. We took a class last semester, and she's one of the most kind, carefree, and cool majors people I have ever known. So, welcome, Jenson.
Welcome to the Honors Podcast.
Would you like to introduce yourself further?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm Jenson and I'm an interior design major here at High Point. I'm a senior, so I'm graduating May, or I don't know. It's just like
It's like 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was talking with someone the other day and it was like, or she was like, yeah, we have like 2 months of school left, right? And I was like, we're halfway through March and then it's just 1 month because I'm graduating May 3rd. I'm like, kind of scary. Kind of got to figure things out, but we're getting there.
How are you feeling about graduating and wrapping up?
Definitely bittersweet. I am just so looking forward to being done with the school aspects and homework and, I don't know, kind of the crazy schedule because, I know, weird. I think it'll be fun to have kind of consistency, like knowing where I'm going to be 8 to 5 every day and then whatever I want in the evenings and no homework. But at the same time, like, it's bitter that I'm going to be leaving a lot of people I love and I'll definitely miss kind of just walking around campus and running into my friends all the time and just grabbing spontaneous meals with them, spontaneous hangouts. And so I think I'll definitely miss the community part and kind of that carefree. Kind of just go with the flow, go wherever the wind takes you. So I'll definitely miss that. But yeah, just bittersweet overall, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking about how do friendships change after college the other day, and I was I wanted to talk to one of my alumni friends who lives in Greensboro and is working a 9 to 5. I was like, how does friendship work after college? Because you're not surrounded by people who are the same age as you. You don't just go get lunch together and run into them naturally. You have to plan everything and spend money more often, all this stuff. So that's a nebulous I don't know anything about. So you'll have to let me know what you learn after you get out of here. So it's fun. Yeah. So interior design, as an ambassador, I'm supposed to know many things about it, but it's one of the majors I know the least about. I did find out recently that you graduate with your license to do interior design. No?
We do. Well, yeah.
How does that work? What is an interior design license?
I don't think there's necessarily a license. We can practice interior design right off the bat, and then 2 years after practicing interior design, you can take an exam. It's called the NCIDQ. Hopefully I didn't botch that up, but you can take that exam and then you can stamp your own drawings. So you won't need an architect to stamp your drawings or need that extra step, but you can be kind of your own boss. And so it's kind of an easy way to become an architect without having to do architecture school, which also requires you to take 7 exams. It's just a lot heftier. So we can practice interior design. I don't think there's really a license.
That's
I
what
need
I
a
thought,
license, but
you don't get your license for that. You just do it.
Yeah, you can either do 4 years of interior design and then 2 years practicing before taking that exam, or you can do 2 years of school and then 4 years practicing and then take the exam. So there's a few different routes.
What have you done?
4 years of school.
Okay.
And I don't know, we'll see where 2 years takes me. If I kind of plateau in my career, don't know what the next step is, maybe I'll take the exam, but I don't know, if I'm just really content with where I'm at and I'm growing in the company, I don't know, we'll see if I want to take it then.
Do you have a company lined up? What are your after
Well,
school
yeah,
dreams?
so Dr. Trammell last semester, he said to me about something. He was like, yeah, I have so many plan Bs, but no plan A. And it's really stressful. I'm like, that is so real. And that's definitely how I feel right now. I have so many plan Bs and no plan A, whether it's job or living situation, roommates, every aspects of real adult life, I guess. But so right now I have an internship with Barber Spangle. Do you know Barber Spangle?
No.
No. So
All I got is Condon Yards.
yeah, it is there.
Oh, okay.
That's better than most people. Their office is second floor
Okay.
in Congdon Yard. So yeah, I'm working there doing an internship there. Can walk down, get a coffee at Lil's, just chill. But Barber Spangle, they designed Butterfly Cafe,
Really?
Cafe, Panther Commons, which it's a very interesting building.
Yes.
Not really their fault. High Point, I think, changed their mind a lot.
Do you know Haley, who just graduated last year? She was an interior design major.
Probably.
Yeah, she
I
was
probably
interior design.
recognize
She
her
worked in
face.
admissions now as a guest
Oh, really?
experience lead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got into a really deep conversation about Panther Commons the other day.
It's terrible.
She also told me about the building code thing, about the staircases, how if they're really wide, you have to have a railing in it.
Yeah.
And that at some of our spaces, there are no railings.
Yeah. What's so surprising is that High Point, is not very accessible. It's not meeting these standards. And I don't know how they're getting away with that. And especially Panther Commons, there's so many factors there because there's the architect, the engineers, the interior designers. Honestly, the interior designers mostly do the furniture and finishes. And so, yeah, nothing against Barber Spangle. I do love working for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully that turns into a job after I graduate. But yes, there's so many people that go into designing the buildings. So it might be more of an issue with the architect, engineers, who created the blueprints and stuff. But yeah, I think it might be 60% of the doors are supposed to be ADA accessible, like Americans with Disabilities Act. So there should be an automatic button and you should be able to click it, it'll automatically open, walk in. But I think just a few doors on Panther Commons actually do that. And imagine trying to open the door to Barb's and those doors are so heavy.
They are so heavy.
Yeah, I have trouble opening them for some reason. I don't know. And then imagine trying to navigate a wheelchair through the line at Barberitos too. It's just, I don't know how they got away with it, but.
Yeah. Another building, every time, because I was a tour guide, going to all the main aesthetic buildings all the time, and I see them a lot, so I just start looking around, wondering, it's that's a weird design choice right there. But I think it's more on the architecture side, because just the beams of the arena is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They jet out in weird areas and don't connect corners, so there's just gaps in the ceiling.
I need to pay
hidden.
I need to pay attention to that.
I know.
I'm gonna notice that next time probably.
I know. It's just the perimeter of it
Yeah.
is not. It seems like it could have fit together better.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. But all in all, our buildings are fairly beautiful visually.
Oh
least.
yeah, 100%. You walk on the campus, it's a little utopia,
Yeah.
a little plastic bubble of perfection.
It's a little fun.
But yeah.
So yeah, working backwards a little bit, what brought you here in the first place?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to do interior design. I always really loved art and drawing, and I was very artistically minded in that way, but also just had this engineering side in my brain too, so I was very good with math. And so I didn't want to be just an art major. I wanted to do something a little more than that, or I'm not called to that. So I was like, why not interior design? And so then I'm from North Carolina, the Raleigh area.
Okay.
And I knew that I wanted to stay in North Carolina. I didn't really feel drawn to leave the state or anything like that. So I was just looking at the different schools in North Carolina. And so I looked at App State, Western Carolina, and High Point University. And there was also Meredith College that had interior design, but that was all girls. I was like,
Yes, I've been to Meredith. We
Really?
went to a dance conference there.
oh, interesting.
Random
Yeah.
side plot.
Yeah. I was like, I just don't want to go to all girls school. I just don't think I can do that. So I decided to just invest in App State, Western, High Point. And my mom, funny enough, forced me to write an application or write a paper to get the Junior Scholars Scholarship with High Point. and I had never come to High Point before, but I just had to write this paper about it. So I was like researching it online, looking at pictures. By the time I wrote the paper, I convinced myself to come here. I like sold myself and I'm like, dang, this school is really cool. And so I decided like, yeah, let's explore a little more. So I did get accepted as a junior scholars, and I did a private tour, which was during COVID, which is a very interesting experience because it was like a ghost town here. There was just no one here. But I still really liked it. And so I came to open houses. And what really drew me and what compared to the other colleges was the interior design program, and because it's pretty reputable here, and literally everyone says like you'll be hired before you're graduated. And so I just knew that, I don't know, I probably learn the best and have great success coming here. And just the environment and the culture overall, just like super motivational and like very success driven. Like I don't know, they want you to be motivated for life and want you to have passion and kind of zeal and excitement to just take it on full force. So, yeah, I guess I just like really like that kind of culture and that motivation, and the interior design program overall just seems really awesome. And the location too, with Furniture Market right here. And that has just opened so many doors of opportunities for me. So, yeah, that's kind of why I narrowed down to High Point, yeah.
Tell me about growing up in Raleigh. Like, what was that like? Were you near the city or like more out in the suburbs?
So I was definitely a little more rural, and my house is probably still like, I don't know, 45 or 30 to 45 minutes from Raleigh, but I was actually born in Oregon, and when I was 8, we moved to North Carolina. First 5 years here, we rented houses. I think we rented like 4 different houses or something. So I lived right in the middle of Raleigh, and that was really nice being just so close to everything. And then after that, we moved out to Pittsboro, North Carolina, very small town. Some people know it, some people don't, but it's definitely more rural and kind of out in the country. But what I love about that is it's so quiet and peaceful, and that when I wanted to be in the city, like I was still pretty relatively close, like a 40-minute drive. And I actually went to a school called Cary Christian School, and that was in Cary. So I grew up commuting like 25-30 minutes for school on a daily basis, and it's exhausting. And definitely right now I live in Terrace, and it's like a 5-minute commute.
But it feels so much worse.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, now I'm like, wow, 5 minutes is rough. I don't think I could do 30 minutes again. So that'll be an adjustment after college, trying to figure out commute times and stuff. But yeah, I loved North Carolina, though. I feel like it's just like such a good state to like raise a family in, and just fun opportunities. There's nothing super exciting here, like, I don't know, that everyone should come and see, but I mean, you got the mountains, you got the beach. It's just like, it's just a solid state. Like,
it is.
It's just good.
That's a good intuition, because I hear that a lot on tours. Like everyone's like, yeah, North Carolina's a great place to go to college, because like what you're just saying, mountains, beach, but then like East Coast wise, it's like centrally located.
Yeah. So
you're like, it's 6 hours to Atlanta, and then we're like 4 to DC and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're only 3 hours from the coast here at High Point.
Exactly.
So, and like economically, North Carolina's like an up and bustle. Like there's lots of good real estate, and like a lot of international companies are in North Carolina as well.
Oh, really?
It's just a random state where they're headquartered.
Interesting.
So that's very interesting as well. But I was the same way growing up, like 20-minute commute to school. And I also took my siblings to school too. So I was like,
okay.
And we had separate campuses for the elementary and the middle school. So it's like middle school, elementary school, and then I got to go to my high school.
That's funny.
So.
And then you had to leave your high school and pick them all up?
No, I didn't pick them up because I normally had my show rehearsal or dance classes late at night.
Okay.
And they're just done by 3:30 and want to go home.
Yeah, no, that's so fair.
Fun. But yeah, I appreciate it, like growing up rurally, like in the mountains, or like nature.
What state?
In Georgia.
Georgia, okay.
Georgia.
Is that where your family still is now?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I've lived and grown up in the same house my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that is
Which I realize
not
is
me.
not a normal experience, I have found
Yeah,
out.
I've lived in so many different houses.
I don't know. Do you think that's,
Yeah.
like, impacted you anyway in your, like, development? Because I'm so interested about, like, people's environmental raising.
Funny enough, it's helped me with interior design.
Yeah. You've just seen so many.
Yeah, especially like because we just go house shopping and look through so many different houses. I remember some houses are really weird or some are really cool,
Yeah.
and I don't know. So yeah, I kind of learned a little bit of that growing up, but I think like how it's affected me is I'm just ready to be planted. Like after college, I just want to find a place and just settle down. Instead of like having to move all over the place again. And because even with college, I just feel like I'm not rooted anywhere really. And because I'm here in High Point for a few months and then I have to go back home. And then that's kind of not as many friends there anymore because everyone's
Yeah.
kind of moving away, especially in this like senior season that some of my friends have already graduated like last semester because they graduated early and they've moved out of state. And so like when I go home, I have a few friends, but it's just fewer and far between. And because everyone's just moving on to the next phase. And
That was fun.
yeah, so I'm just ready to be planted and just stay instead of having to move around
Yeah.
all over again. And I don't know if that's going to be feasible. It'll probably be another season of
Yeah.
renting one apartment for a year and switching roommates. So we'll see. But I definitely just really crave to just be in one place for
Yeah.
a little longer.
Do you have, like, a dream house that you've designed?
That have designs?
Not designed, but, like,
Or like, yeah, just kind of.
since you have more, like, oh, I wanted this specific interior design thing in my house, all that stuff. Like, everyone has, like, their dream home, but you would have
Yeah.
more technical.
Not really, actually. I definitely have like my favorite style of how I would love my house to be. Like,
Do you have a favorite house
Or-
you've seen? I love beach houses. I love
Really?
going to the
Okay.
beaches. Like, every year we get, like, a different beach house. Like, oh my gosh.
That's
I love, like,
fun.
exploring it on the first day. It's like,
yeah,
I love this
that is
design.
fun. That is fun. What's really cool, you should go to Myrtle Beach. In North Myrtle Beach, I helped design a beach house there.
Oh my gosh.
And so this is a cool opportunity for the furniture market. So highly recommend. People should work the furniture market, even if you're interior design or not. Like it opens so many opportunities to network and meet people. But I met this one designer and she was like asking the programs and software that I know. And we just started talking. And then she was like, oh, I'm designing this 9-bedroom beach house. I would love your help with that. And so she's in Myrtle Beach and I'm obviously in North Carolina. So it was like a year of just like calling each other and like it just became a freelancing gig for me, but I helped her design it. So I was rendering a lot of images and walkthroughs, and it's like if someone doesn't know what that is, it's kind of creating an image of what the space could look like. And so that was so much fun. I helped like design and render the kitchen and dining area, living room, bedrooms, bathrooms. There's a movie theater room. And like this, it was a huge project. There was also a pool and an outdoor area.
Wow.
It was like a $2 million beach house right on the beach too.
What?
And yeah, and then this past August, I went down to Myrtle Beach and helped like install the house. So I helped just place all the furniture, the decor, and it was just so cool to see it all come together in person. And so that was just an insane opportunity. But yeah, that's probably been my favorite project. But I don't know, my favorite house, like I love more traditional design.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of think like Ralph Lauren or like the library with the old antique globe on it and the leather office chair and the like bookcase with all the books and the ladder that slides
Yes.
around. Yeah.
I want this exact
Yeah.
thing in my house.
Mhm.
I specifically
Yeah.
want this, and then one of the bookshelves is a secret door that goes
That'd be
somewhere.
sick.
I don't know where it needs to go.
Yeah.
I keep having this dream where, like, I have my kids, right?
Mhm.
And, like, when they turn 14 or something, I, like, have this scavenger hunt where they figure out that there's a
Aw.
secret door in the house.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that.
And I, like, make it a whole, like,
Aw.
Wheeler family lore or something. I don't know. That's, like, my
You'll have
that's
to,
just my
like,
one.
yeah, you'll have to get, like, a coat of arms and stuff,
Yes.
too.
I was because I
Yeah.
had that on like TikTok for a long time. It's just like different secret hidden doors. Or, like,
Really?
those like bar things that like come out of the floor.
Yeah.
And I would be just like, you can tell it's a door though. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, I want a good interior designer that
Yeah.
can like
Hey, call me up in a few
Yeah.
years.
specialize
I got
in
you.
hidden
Yeah.
interiors. That was
Yeah.
fun. So speaking of your traditional aesthetic,
Okay.
I overheard a conversation one time you were having with Dr. Trammell
Oh, no.
about for context, Dr. Trammell was our honors professor last semester, and his class was what was it called?
Digital media analysis, I think.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
But it's very
There's, like, something
interesting.
else. Yes. It was
Put in a
very
little
cool.
plug for him.
Yeah, it was very great. But Dr. Trammell also had a whole fascinating thing about churches.
Yeah.
And you guys had a conversation one time about the evolution of church architecture.
Okay.
So, also in our class conversation about free will and consumerism and capitalism, I want to ask you, so with the evolution of church architecture and then kind of architecture and design in general, do we have free will to design whatever we want, or are we conditioned by the cultural industry to align it with the demanded aesthetic?
It's a very interesting question. You thought this through.
I know, I've heard.
I don't know. That's very interesting. Yeah, one thing that I talked with Dr. Trammell about was how, like, in the olden times, medieval times, that, like, what I learned is that church architecture, the exteriors especially, and also the interiors, were the very high steeples. So, like, you go to Europe and the churches have such high steeples because it was kind of a competition between churches and architects, designers to get super close to God and, like, who can get the closest to heaven. And then some people would build super tall churches and then collapse. Yeah. And then they'd, like, reinforce the architecture and engineering, and they learn through trial and error, which is very interesting. But yeah, and then interiors as well, just like the vaulted ceilings. It's supposed to give you kind of like this, like, I don't know, this vertical feeling to bring you up to heaven. And so I love traditional church architecture. I think that's one thing that modern architecture is definitely missing, that kind of beauty in creating creating a church, like the house of God, that is beautiful. And, like, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, like, they would build temples and make them beautiful for God. And I'm like, why are we stopping that now? But Dr. Trammell, he kind of helped me realize that with a lot of these other churches, there's no windows in them. And why is that? Because we need projectors to project, like, the slides for the pastor or the lyrics to the songs. And so I just love natural light. I love big windows, especially when I can, like, see out and see the nature outside too, and the sun streaming in, just so beautiful. So it makes me kind of sad that we are on this trajectory of kind of taking that natural light away. And so we're just left in kind of like dark rooms with artificial lighting. And yeah, it makes me sad. And so I think, like, there is kind of an aspect to the function of that, how that has reshaped architecture and design for churches and other things as well. But I don't know. I think like the function is shaping the trajectory, but I mean, anyone could choose probably to build a church with windows. And I think we still see that with like Catholic churches that are more traditional, and they understand like scripture says God is light. And so they hold on to that. But I don't know. I think there is definitely influence of like what other people are doing. So we're also going to do that we're seeing more and more modern design, and because that's trendy, and we're kind of going with the trends, because maybe these more modern churches could easily kind of hold on to the traditional design even with the projectors and no windows, but yet they keep doing modern contemporary lines. So I don't know.
How do you think it would evolve how would you hope it would evolve in a way that either circles back or incorporates the best of both things?
Yeah, I think and hope that I think we're seeing with technology, people are getting really sick of it. People are getting really tired of like social media and phones, and yet we're still also addicted to it, and it's still like such a huge part of our culture now. And there's these cameras and wires and computers. My phone's right here. Like, we can't really get away with it, but I think we are seeing people wanting to get away from that. And I think especially in churches too, people are going to want to be able to connect more with God rather than just with technology. And that hopefully that we can go back to just books, and that we can kind of stray away from having projectors and screens in the church, but we can just have the lyrics of the songs in a book and just go from there. And just, I mean, sometimes it's helpful to have the sermon notes behind the pastor, but you can also just listen. And I'm a note taker, and so I just like try to listen. I know not everyone may be wired to do that. I think that comes a little easier to me, but maybe you can have the notes online that if they miss something, you can look it up after. So I would just hope that, we kind of take screens out of the church, because I think it does take a little bit of the reverence away from being at church on Sundays as well. That it's taking away, like, I don't know, having it in the church is, what Dr. Trammell said too is like, it's kind of weird how like the same thing that you can have like the Bible on the same thing you can order a pizza off of. He said something like that. And it's like it's crazy. And I think like I could easily get so distracted. I like having my own Bible and my own notebook and keeping my phone away. But if I was trying to use my phone, like using the Bible app, and I get a notification, I know that I'm going to click on the notification, start reading that, and then I'm going to miss like a minute of the sermon or something. So I guess I know myself, and it can be so distracting. So I hope that we can get away from keeping or like having technology in church.
I remember we were talking about this in class too, like how difficult it is to change your habits, especially in like the cultural industry of everyone is demanding things. You do it a certain way. So it's very hard to break that and not buy the Walla water bottle.
Yeah. I have a thermos. It's different. So $20 at Target.
Okay, but Target is like the top trend.
Is it basic then?
I don't know. You know,
it
I don't
trendy?
pay attention to the water bottle trends.
You got yours at Walmart. Do you still have like a different one? Or have you caved yet?
I got just the first one I saw on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And like these were 40 ounces. So I was like, it's a big water bottle.
Yeah.
Which I drink a lot of water and I like it. I like putting little snacks in here sometimes. Like one of those like kitty cup things.
So funny.
That was fun.
You're the first person I've heard to do that.
You know,
That's
just a couple
great.
little Cheerios in the morning.
Yeah, a little pick me up for the day.
That was fun. All right. So that was very honors of you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we haven't talked about how you got into honors yet.
Yeah.
So you came to High Point because we had our great interior design program, but then you're also an honor student. So how did that happen?
Yeah, I think it was between the Creative Fellows and then the honors program. And I I think I got accepted into the honors program first, and so I accepted that. And I think I did get accepted into the Creative Fellows, but I just was like, oh, it'd be so great to live in Finch your first 2 years. And,
I thought you did all this research.
no. And I think I didn't want to do the normal gen eds either. I was like, it'd be fun to do something different. And the courses with the honors program sound really interesting. And yeah, but then the deciding factor was Creative Fellows is like kind of extra classes on top of your gen eds. And I don't think it's like too much, but yeah, with honors, I was like, oh, it'd be different classes. And I'm living in a dorm with all the other honors students. And yeah, and then I moved into Finch, and there's dust and mold. I'd wake up, like, my nose is running because of, like, the dust and mold every day. So that was a fun experience. But truly, like, it didn't disappoint. I really, like, what I thought about it seemed like it had interesting courses, stood true, that, like, I loved how all the classes were more discussion-based, and we didn't have, like, exams we had to study for and just these normal gen ed lectures, but you show up to class and maybe you have to write, like, 1 or 2 papers, but it was mostly, like, presentations for grades and papers, but it was just fun to show up to class and just have discussions because, like, even, like, digital media last semester. Like,
Yeah.
that was...
I loved your presentation on La La Land.
Oh, my gosh,
which
yes.
I still have not seen.
You have to.
Like, it's so
good,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm someone who, I do not like watching good movies by myself. Like, I want to be with another person. I want to experience that with another person. But after seeing your presentation, like, the cinematic, like, color theory and all that, I was like, oh my gosh.
It is such an artistic movie. And in my book, it's one of the last, like, really creative movies made as of recently. And, like, since then, I feel like nothing is as original. The plot line was just original. The aesthetic and the color theory, and it's just so artistic. And yeah, and then the actors, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, top tier. So I don't know, it all around the board. You should watch it. You should make an exception. Just get your bucket of popcorn, eat it by yourself.
By myself in my room.
Yeah.
I might have to because I need to watch it at this point.
Yeah.
It was fun. And that was just a thing you did for an honors class of your own.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fun because we had so much freedom to do that too, that, like, we can use our own discernment and, like, take what we've talked about in class, like, because he helped us break down, like, what or how to kind of analyze media and movies, shows, music, whatever. And so, but once we learned that, like, because he probably lectured for us, like, 2 weeks or something. And then it was just us kind of taking over. And so I just loved the freedom that we could choose whatever movie we wanted and just break it down. And, like, basically, it's not running off completion, but, like, as long as, like, you do what he asked for and do a decent job, like, honors classes are relatively, like, not that hard. Like, and I think it also comes easy to honor students who are we're all willing to work really hard for good grades. So I think maybe it comes easier to us. But honestly, I'm glad that I did the honors program because comparing to the interior design students that were in gen eds, I feel like the honors program was just easier overall.
But do you still feel like you learn a lot from it?
100%. Yeah. 100%. And I think, like, the honors program is more of an emphasis on kind of learning how to think, learning how to analyze, and which to me, I think that like, all of education, especially secondary, like, college education should go down on that trajectory, because when you think about it, like, these critical thinking skills are life skills. We're going to need to know how to do that. We're going to need to know how to quickly pick up on like, how to analyze digital media and then just do it ourselves immediately after. And that's like learning the skill of learning fast and learning efficiently and taking that independence and not having to constantly ask questions. But if we have a question, like try to figure it out for ourselves first before like trying to find help. But like I truly think that the honors program, like I'm so thankful because I feel like I've learned more life skills and more critical thought in that than I would have learned in a gen ed class where we're just listening to a lecture and brain dumping on exams and tests. And I think that has its time and place, but I think that to me it just feels more fitting for high school. Like to have that memorization and brain dump. And I think general education courses, that should be done in high school. And then, like, I'm truly so thankful that I could put that behind me in high school and just, like, take college as an opportunity to critically think and critically analyze and just try to apply that to real life.
Do you have any other honors classes that you took, either Dr. Trammell's or others, where you really had that moment of, oh my gosh, like I'm really learning how to like critically think and I feel prepared to like encounter an unknown problem?
Goodness, how many? I'm trying to think which ones I've taken. Yeah, well, so one is it's Honors 4900, and it's kind of like the senior portfolio class.
Yeah.
And it's really reflecting on like who you've been in college, who you are now, and who are you going to be after. It's a very thought-provoking class, and we're kind of talking a lot about the value of a liberal arts education and like why do we need it. And we've had a lot of discussions like this surrounding the memorization and brain dumping versus the critical thinking skills. But that class is like once a week, and we're just sitting down and having discussion for like an hour and 40 minutes. And that, I don't know, it's just so interesting and such a great opportunity to just like sit and discuss. And because a lot of life is just sitting and talking. We're doing that right now.
I know.
And it's such a good life skill to learn how to do that. And trying to think of other courses. Another favorite was Uniquely Developing You. Mm-hmm. And that is the science course. Because like we have to take kind of like gen eds. You still have to take your math course, your science course, but they're weird. They're different from the normal gen eds. So this was a science course, and it was about biology. But what I loved about it was he was going through things that were applicable to real life. Like he would tell us about medications and stuff and how they're affecting our bodies. Like we watched like a video about like how there's this one medication, a pain reliever of some sort. I can't remember, and how it was causing mutations in pregnant women, and then the babies would come out deformed, and it was heartbreaking. But I think like it's good to have awareness of like how important development is and how our bodies work and how the bodies will interact with the external forces in this world. And especially I'm a health nut. A lot of my friends know that. And I'm constantly talking about like seed oils and stuff.
Oh my gosh. The seed oils.
Have you gone on this rabbit trail?
Yeah, no, it was my father, and I went home over spring break or Christmas break, and it's like we're going through the kitchen, we're like looking through everything, and you were throwing out everything that had palm or seed oil in it. And I was like, give it to me, I'll take it back to college. Like
I'll eat
I'm
it.
young, I'm healthy, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with seed oils and all this stuff, but apparently there's like it's hard to process, and it's like leading to like fat.
Yeah. I've like gone down deep rabbit trails with this, but it just like affects like how your metabolism works because it damages the mitochondria and stuff. But yeah, I won't get into that.
But you're a health nut.
But yes, I am. So I think like I really liked Uniquely Developing You because it was diving deeper into like I don't know. I think there's like Dr. Cofield. He was like, if you take anything away from this class, like it's like just really think about what you're putting on your body, putting in your body, and how it could affect you, and not only you, but your offspring as well. And I don't know. So I thought that was like really just like really applicable and or to real life because a lot of science classes are just memorization and brain dump and not like really critically thinking how is this affecting me.
Did you have to read a lot of like sciencey papers in that class too? Because I know in my scientific class, molecule shape experience, which everyone calls potions and poisons, which I think is a much better name.
Yeah, that's a
But
fun
in that
name.
class, like same like applicable outcomes, but like don't put this in your body and all that stuff. But also like I feel more confident about like reading scientific literature now when I'm like trying to figure out what is okay to eat and like vaccines that year and all that stuff. So I feel like educated in that sense of like being able to engage with material that I'm not an expert in and like be able to critically evaluate it.
Yeah. I don't think it wasn't super heavy.
Yeah.
The reading, but
even within each like section, they're all so different.
Yeah,
like all the science classes are so different from each other.
Yeah. The fun thing about this one was like he would lecture sometimes too, so we'd have context for the experiment we were doing, and we were helping zebrafish or watching zebrafish like develop, and so we'd breed the fish and they'd lay eggs, and then we'd watch the fish grow from the egg into like the tiny little fish, and we'll watch the development. And so like, we obviously had to have some context so we could actually understand that. So there were some readings for that. But yeah, I feel like I just learned really cool skills from that. And I don't know, it was just fun. One thing I do remember is that in High Point, we have like an excessive amount of fluoride in the water or something. And our zebrafish just don't last very long, or they'll die pretty quickly, or a majority of them do die because of our water quality. And that like at other schools in other cities, their zebrafish are like doing fine. They're doing a lot better.
We used like city water to put in the tanks.
I think so. I think they're probably, I don't know.
I feel like there's like a purification process for that.
Yeah, there
but
is.
still, you can't get all it out.
Yeah, like we're not like trucking water from across the state to give it to our zebrafish. So I think there is some purification, but again, take it with a grain of salt. I took that class sophomore year, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. You remember all that from sophomore year, so yeah, you retain the.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're about at time. I just have one final question for you, which is not my question actually.
Oh, okay.
So I have a tradition that I've started on the podcast where the previous episode, the guest has left you a question.
Oh,
so
okay.
you'll answer it, and then you get the opportunity to leave your own question for the next guest.
Okay.
Just like sign your initials and the date.
Gotcha.
So the question the last guest asked is, what is your favorite thing about your major?
Favorite thing about my major? I truly love how creative it is, and I'm just not an exam taker. I've always done fine with exams, but I love how like all last semester and this semester haven't had to study for an exam. I just don't have exams anymore.
Nice.
And because it's all just like presentations, and I just love like being able to sit down and do something creative with my time that I think I told people when they're trying to decide like their major and stuff, like what I was thinking through was when it's a Saturday, I'm slammed with homework and I have to do it on the weekend. I have no choice. Would I rather be spending a whole day writing a paper about like economics or like some sciencey topic, Or would I want to be spending my Saturday like doing something more creative, like interior design and drawing and picking out colors, furniture, whatever? I was like, yeah, I would rather spend that extra time of mine. I'd rather invest in something creative and fun. And so, yeah, that's definitely what I love about interior design. And I think I definitely chose the right major. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to share because I've really invested in it. I am taking a scenography class this semester.
Ooh, okay.
So basically interior design, but for like the stage and like theater performances.
Yeah.
I built an entire model box this
Really?
semester of our like Pauline HVAC theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I've like designed
Oh my
sets
gosh.
like that to scale. I have an architect ruler. It's in my bag over there
Yeah.
and everything.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And,
You'll have
like,
to show me a picture of that. I want to
Yes, I
see it.
will. I don't know. My mom told me I did used to want to be an architect as a kid. So I don't know. Maybe I want to do
Maybe it's
set
not too
design
late.
for
Yeah.
shows.
That'd be kind of cool.
Because
You're
then you can
halfway
still
there.
be very creative in that sense.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching the Wicked movie. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't.
No, but the entire set that was like built.
Really?
Yes, and like real
Wow.
life and all that stuff. Like the Emerald
Yeah.
City. And I saw
Okay.
a variety interview with the set designer for it, and he was like going into like how he did and all this stuff. I was like, this is cool. It was like a real
Yeah.
job.
Well, I'll have to watch that
it's very cool.
and check that out. But
All right, here's my many things going on in this notebook
Okay.
right here. So you can choose your color, and
Okay.
then those are the previous questions if you want to get an idea. And you
Okay.
can just write it down below.